Your mindset is the root of your reality. If you can change your mindset, then you can change your life. Welcome, Master Your Vibe. Mind bright, vibe right. The mindset reboot for those ready for some calibration to their vibration. I'm your host, King Yes Indeed, your guide for this vibrational journey, here to help you conquer any mental blocks, fine-tune your inner frequency, and navigate to your higher self. If you're ready to make your mind bright so you can vibe right, then you're in the right place. Let the journey begin. Yes, indeed. Welcome, and welcome back to another episode of Master Your Mindset, the 7 dimensions of mindset, people. And today we are going to be talking about discipline, more specifically the military type mindset of discipline. And so we're not talking about kind of discipline that feels like punishment or restriction. What I want to talk to you today is just discipline from a certain type of perspective. It's ways that we can see the world, ways that we transform chaos into order, the ways that we can stop hesitating and just go ahead and get into action and try to make our dreams a reality. I want you to think about the military for a moment. I served. A lot of my friends served. My wife served. We don't always, soldiers don't rely constantly or solely on motivation to get through tough days, training, any mission that we're assigned to. We rely on structured systems, routines, habits, all of those things. And when you adopt the same perspective in your own life, you begin to realize that discipline is not about restricting yourself or losing your freedom, or your autonomy or your ability to think. It's actually about gaining it and figuring it out. And so in this episode, we're going to explore discipline as it relates to a military mindset, right? How discipline, when seen as a certain type of perspective, can become one of the most powerful tools in the master your mindset tool bag. All right, and it's going to help you do things like build resilience, and help you maybe finally create some of the results that you've been trying to get. And so let's go ahead and jump right in, right? And first and foremost, let's talk about why specifically a military mindset is important. And I mentioned it in the opening comments. One of the things that's most important is your discipline is more than just motivation. Motivation is not the driving factor, right? A military mindset relies on doing what must be done regardless of how you feel, regardless of your circumstance, regardless of the weather, regardless of even if you have certain types of equipment. It's just you have to get it done. And so none of those other outside factors really truly matter. So it doesn't matter if you're motivated, you just have to go get it done. And it's this consistency that builds trust. It builds trust in the people around you. It builds trust in the system that's been created. And I think most importantly, it builds trust within yourself that you are able and capable and you are going to show up when things get absolutely chaotic and difficult, and when they're at their most stressful peak. Right? Discipline creates structure that creates freedom. Now, many people think structure restricts freedom, and in some cases it can, but in many cases, especially this particular case, it really creates. A military training teaches about clear routines, clear processes. It teaches about a system that really frees up your mental space. It frees up all of this clutter so that you have the ability to really critically think about things and perform and really perform at a high level, on a different level, I should say. Now, in extreme cases, especially as it relates to the military and in some other civilian aspects, it can seem sort of robotic. But that's really kind of what you want, almost like a person has no control over what's happening or what they're doing. But in these instances, sometimes it's that reaction, that split second, that 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 hair of a moment, right? That minimal reaction time that is going to save you, that's going to keep you from losing. It's going to catapult you to winning. It's going to do all of these things. And so that structure, and again, I talked about this before on another show. It's called muscle memory, right? We want to just be able to really see something and react, and see something, the mind computes and react. See something, the mind computes and react. We don't want to spend a whole lot of time really trying to think and process with the structures that we have, at least not in certain things. And this is what we truly, it's what we truly are talking about as it relates to freeing up. There's no wasted energy. There's no wasted effort. All right, you don't have anything that's not useful to you. Discipline also creates resilience under pressure. Right, soldiers are deployed to all sorts of combat zones and uncomfortable situations, right? And we're trained to operate effectively in uncertainty, in discomfort, in adversity, in pain, in fatigue, in confusion. We're trained to operate in all that. And what it does is, what we're basically building is called mental toughness, all right? The ability to keep moving forward despite anything that's standing in front of you. Again, in excess. And this is part, especially as it relates to my military folk, but this is really for everyone. We want to be careful about this one, particularly doing it in extreme and prolonged circumstances, because what it then can lead to is PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome, being the major example of a prolonged resilience under pressure. Yes, we want to be able to maintain it for a little bit. We want to be able to push through for a little bit. But if we find ourselves constantly pushing through and always pushing through to the point where that's our normal, no, 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 no. We don't want to do that. We want to pull back off of that, right? And this is really only supposed to be applied so that we can grow, right? We want to grow to a point, and then that's it. Then the growth has happened. So when the challenge hits, you respond to it, you grow, and then you pull off. We don't need to make that our permanent lifestyle. Discipline can create teamwork and accountability as well, right? Again, we talking about in the military, no one, and I mean no one, succeeds alone. Even if you think about people who supposedly operate by themselves, like you would think about a sniper. But a sniper sometimes works in teams of two or three, right? You have a spotter, you might have a tracker, you might have a radio man, you might have all these things. Usually it's in teams of two, all right? But no one in the military succeeds alone. And so discipline, you got to create some form of teamwork and accountability, right? Accountability and shared responsibility, right? And this creates high standards not only for you, but for the people around you, right? You have high standards for those individuals around you that are going to keep you accountable to the standards that you have set for the group, all right? And this means surrounding yourself with the correct people, right? You have to surround yourself with people that are going to ensure that you continue to raise your game, that ensure that you're not taking shortcuts, that ensure that you operate by your morals and standards that you presented to them, right? And it doesn't matter. They shouldn't take any mess from you, right? They're not gonna let you off the hook because, oh, it's Herm, so it's cool. No, it's not. All right. Oh well, it's just Herm, so we gonna overlook this. No, you're not. All right, I don't care if it's me. I don't care who it is. All right, surround yourself with people that are going to hold you accountable at all times. All right, now let's get into discipline as a perspective, right? With the discipline as a perspective, what we are trying to do is we're trying to challenge our own perspective and how we see things from our point of view, right? So, for instance, we could look as a setback is not a failure, it's just training. And sometimes just changing the wording of that just a little bit. I mean, just by labeling it a setback and not as a failure is a step in the right direction. But then looking at that as, okay, I'm being trained, I'm being cultivated, I'm being built, I'm being rewired. Anything but just failing, all right? You growing, right? Anything is just failing. There's this quote by Nelson Mandela. I think Jalen Hurts said it most recently, but when I researched it, it was by Nelson Mandela. And Nelson Mandela, when he was dealing with his prison sentence, what he said was he was like, I never lose. He was like, either I win or I learn. All right, and that's really that's a great perspective to have, right? You don't look at anything that happens to you. You try to take the negative out of it and put it into a positive. Winning and learning are both positive things, and so it's either one or the other. All right, people are gonna call it whatever they want. Yeah, you lost. Yeah, you failed. Yes, didn't complete the goal. All those, they're gonna say all of that, right? But it's how you reframe it. Okay, it's how you deal with it. All right, hard work is not punishment; it is preparation. Again, and just reframing it, right? Just work and not punishment. Sometimes, and this is probably, my son was asking me about wanted to build, he wanted to build endurance. And so I was like, well, how have you balanced your standards of endurance? What is your standard? What are you pushing up against to know that you need more endurance? He's like, I just feel the need to. Okay, cool. Um, what have you done to build endurance? Well, I go play basketball once a week. That's not enough. It's not enough. Right. If you want endurance, if you want to run, let's say, and I gave him the analogy of what boxers do. I was like, if a boxer has a 4 round fight, most of the times they train for 8 rounds or even 12 rounds. They double or triple what they actually need so that whatever they're going through, it's no problem. Right. A basketball game is 48 minutes. NBA. I think in high school it was 8 minute quarters, so that's what 16, 32 minutes. We trained for 3 or 4 hours a day. 2 hours of which was sometimes 2.5 hours of which was just running endurance. To be able to run for a complete 32 minutes if we had to play that. All right, and then there was another, hour and some change of running drills and shooting and foul shots and all these other things, right? And so you don't just do something once and expect your body to respond. No, you got to get out there and you have to put pressure on your body. You have to physically train it to meet that goal. So if you want endurance, you got to push yourself beyond the level of which you are training for, right? People who run, 1 mile, 1 mile races, I should say, they don't just run mile and stop. They run 5, 6, 10 miles. So that way, that 1 mile doesn't feel like it's work. They can really, really push themselves within just that 1 mile. And so this is the same way, right? Hard work is just preparation. So if you are preparing for something, you have to work beyond that standard. You really have to push yourself. Another one is structure, right? Structure, again, can sometimes feel restrictive, but we got to tell ourselves that structure is actually creating freedom, right? It's about being systemic, right? It's about streamlining things so that there's no wasted effort. And we just talked about this a little ago. Think about if you are structured, you can save time, you can save energy, and you can save money. Now, I want you to think about those three things that I just named: time, energy, money. All right. Think about those three things. How much of it have you thrown away unnecessarily because you were unorganized? How much of it how much of it did you waste simply because you didn't know what you know now? Right? The structure is going to be critical to free up some of the resources to be maximized somewhere else. Right? If you are trying to build something and you don't know how to build it, you might spend a whole lot of money doing it wrong. You spend a whole lot of time doing it wrong. You spend a whole lot of energy doing it wrong. However, and I'll even use this. Let's say I think the most recent thing I bought was a dress. I don't even know what it's called. A jewelry thing for my daughter. I open the box. I take everything out. I organize it. I get the instructions. I follow the instructions. I build it. It's done. I remember a couple of years ago, my sons, they bought a ping pong table. And they're so excited to get this ping pong table. And what did they do? They took it out the box. They got all the stuff. And they just thought they knew how to put it together. Didn't follow the instructions. Didn't do all that. Well, lo and behold, when they tried to stand it up, the ping pong table fell. And it broke because it wasn't put together properly. They never played on the ping pong table and never ordered another one. Wasted time, wasted energy, wasted money, right? And so, again, if there is a structure in place, if there is a system in place, it is going to create a little bit of, I didn't throw them under the bus like that, but it's going to create a little bit of freedom for you. Yes, indeed. All right. And what does this look like for your daily life? How does discipline show up in your daily life? One is clarity. Herm, what are you talking about? Less emotional clutter because you know your priorities. What is important to you, right? What are the things that you need to get done, right? You got to pay bills. You got to spend time with your loved ones. You want to exercise. You want to walk the dog. You got to do homework, right? All of these things are prioritized so they're within your system of operation. So you know you need to do those things. It's not something where you sometimes need to figure out every single day what it is that you need to do. You know you need to pay bills. You know you need to spend time with your loved ones. Now, how you do it and where you go might be something else, but that's fine. Exercising, we know we need to do that. We know we need to eat dinner. All right, so we already have these things worked into our system, hopefully, of what we need to do on a daily basis. I don't have dogs, but I have goats that I need to take care of. So I know daily basis I got to go out there, I got to feed and water the goats. All right. Consistency. You don't consistency again. It removes how you feel. It removes motivation so that you show up and so that you go do anyway. I talked to my wife about this a couple days ago, and I told her I said the best time, and she likes to go work out. She likes to run, and I was like the best time to go work out is when you least feel like it. And I told her that because anytime that you feel a little bit better than that, it's easier, right? If you can go when you least feel like it, every other day is going to seem easy to go or easier to go, I should say. Now, there's some people that just don't like working out, so maybe every day is a challenge. But it goes back to what I just said. If you can go or force yourself to go or make yourself go on the days where you least feel like it, you're going to begin to create a routine and create that consistency where you're going to show up no matter how you feel. You remove your emotions, remove your feelings, remove all of you out of the way and go do what it is that you know you need to do. Confidence, right? Every act of discipline is proof that you can do it. All right. It builds confidence no matter how overwhelming the task might be, no matter how strenuous the task might be, no matter how big the job might be, right? As long as you keep showing up, you will build confidence and trust within yourself and those around you is if they're showing up with you. Sometimes the willingness to just hang around, the willingness to keep moving forward, the willingness to never quit. Sometimes that's the key. Sometimes that is the key. You guys know I talk a lot, not a lot, but you guys know I played basketball my whole life. It's something that I still love to do. I still play to this day. And when I played, I didn't score a lot of points, but one thing I could do was I could defend. And I was typically one of, if not the best defender on most teams that I played on. And so I usually had a whole bunch of steals, and usually any points that I got, they would come off of me stealing it from somebody else. But also, I was one of the quicker people. And so what I would do is I would just keep running and running and run, sort of like how Steph Curry does to people. Now I'm not Steph Curry, I'm not a shooter, but what I'm saying is the way that he moves without the ball, right? The way where you have to always be mindful of where he is. That's what I would do. I would just make people chase me around all game, and then come late third quarter, early fourth quarter, mid fourth quarter, you gassed and I'm still going. Sometimes the ability to just keep going when the person, everything in them has given up, they have no more juice, they quit, and they see you coming. He's not gonna give up. Oh no, I'm still here, right? If you use it in a work scenario, I had a couple people at work, man. They were not 100% sure if they were going to be qualified enough to get a promotion for a certain position. I tell people, I was like, hey, just go ahead and apply because you never know how it falls. So I'm on some interview panels, and there's three people. And the third person is the one that's like, I don't really know. Okay, cool. So, and it went like they thought, right? They really didn't interview the best. So they're actually number three. All right. But number one, we offer that person the job. They decide, I don't want it because I got another offer from somewhere else. Cool. Go down to number two. Number two decides, oh, well, you know what? I'm getting ready to retire, so I don't want to be promoted. I don't want to deal with the headache. And look who's standing there at number three with a job offer. Simply because you decided to hang in there. Simply because you decided to show up. Simply because you decided to go ahead and do what nobody else is willing to do. Put your name in the hat. Again, that confidence, man, that confidence can get you out of so many things, but it can get you into a couple of things as well. Yes, indeed. It can build resilience, man. Just like a soldier in training, right? You're able to bounce back because you're built for it, right? We built it. We built to be resilient. This the bounce back is it's the falling down and getting back up, right? It's the being knocked down but not being counted out. Who are you when you fall flat on your face? Who are you when you are outmatched in every way? Are you the one that's going to take your basketball and go home? Right? Are you the one that's flipping over tables and stuff? I remember when I was in the military, I was young. It was in 2000. I was in Fort Gordon, Georgia. Just got to my unit, so I'm learning how to play dominoes. And you got the vets that's been there, and they sit at the table. And how it goes, for those of you that don't know, how it goes is the low man, whoever the low man is, they're out. And then how we played was whoever sat behind the person that had domino, you're also out. So it was two people getting up, right? Low man and then whoever was behind the person that had domino, because basically what they're saying is you didn't keep your man from having domino, basically. And the people who have dominoes, you know what I'm talking about. So I'm not gonna get into it. But anyway, you got that, and you got four people, and so you might have two new people that sit down, And those two new people can run the table. And when those vets kind of one of them feel like they shouldn't have lost, or they had a bad game, or the new guys aren't making like the veteran plays, and we're playing weird and unexpected, and they lose. There's been a couple domino tables that have been just flip it over and dominoes everywhere and all that stuff just because they mad because they ended up losing. I've even seen a couple dudes, slam the domino down and break a few dominoes, and again, dominoes just everywhere. All right, and so that's just how they are. So, are you that person, right? Or are you resilient enough to just go through these adversities and just kind of be like, all right, cool. All right, remember, quote I said from Nelson Mandela earlier: you never lose. Either you win or you are going to learn something. All right, so let's talk about some practical ways that we can adopt discipline in our life. Right, we got to start small, man. This ain't something where we need to be overwhelming ourselves. We need to rewrite, the whole discipline book. We don't need to do that, right? Military discipline is not built overnight, right? It's layered, it's small steps. We got to build this thing a little bit by a little bit. So one of the things my wife is huge on, man, and I kind of am coming around to see it, is make your bed in the morning. And the reason why this is important is because studies show that it actually finishes the process of sleep. And you know me, I'm skeptical. I'm like, yeah, whatever. But there is something to it if you do it. And so now, almost sometimes without thinking, when she's not here, like if she's already gotten up out of the bed and she's doing something, and then I wake up, I'll actually get up and make the bed just because I feel like I am now awake once I have made the bed. All right, so that's just a small. Drinking water when we're supposed to, right? I know we live in a hot state, so drinking water here is no problem. But we do have a problem when it's wintertime because it's nice outside. We're like, oh, I don't feel thirsty. I'm not sweating. No, no, no. We still got to drink water. So let's make sure we do that. But there's specific times, like I know first thing in the morning. I've heard that it's extremely important to drink water. So just do that. And you guys know I'm big on this journaling. All right, writing down all of these things, right? And if you don't have your journal, this is a good time to hit the pause button on this thing right now. And go ahead and grab your journal. And if by some small chance that you don't have yourself a journal, what I want you to do is I want you to go to the link in the description of this particular show. I want you to click on the Master Your Mindset, seven Dimensions of Mindset official journal link. Go ahead, grab yourself a journal. We'll get it out to you so you guys can join the rest of the kings with writing these things down, because we got to keep track of these things, right? I'm a guy, my memory ain't the greatest. It really never was, and it's still not. So, we got to write some of these things down. Okay, these small wins, what they create momentum. All right, and they're living proof, that we can be consistent with something. So let's start doing that. All right, let's build a system. Right, we don't want to build motivation. Motivation is necessary. Yes, hype yourself up. Have somebody around you to hype yourself up. Right, but soldiers don't really, though we don't rely on motivation by itself. We need systems and we need routines. All right, so what are some systems and routines that you can use? Time blocking to structure your day, basically using a calendar. All right, but time blocking specifically can be block out some time for X, right? And some of that stuff, we're just talking about some self-care right now, right? Let's block out some time for you. Let's block out some time for some reading. Let's block out some time for some relaxation. Let's block out some time for some exercise. Let's block out some time for your loved ones. Block out some times for the doggy, or the pets, or the cat, or whatever it is that you got. Block out some time for that. I know we used to meal prep, just to reduce the daily stress of having to figure out what dinner is going to be. Especially if you got a busy life. Lord, the last thing you want to do is come home. You didn't had a long day, and you have to figure out what you are going to eat, especially if you're trying to eat any kind of healthy. right? The last thing you want to do is deal with that, right? So meal prepping might be huge for you, right? And I think I did an episode on sleep, right? As create an evening wind down ritual that kind of leads you into sleep, that kind of supports your rest, right? I ain't not saying you got to turn off all the lights and be in the dark, but maybe you switch to from TV to music. All right, maybe you switch from music to reading. Maybe you switch from reading to meditation. Maybe you go for a nighttime walk. Maybe you have a glass of wine. I don't know what that looks like for you. Maybe you put your foot in the massage. Maybe you take a bath. I don't really know what it is. But start creating that nightly ritual, something that you can do every night. It doesn't have to be for a long time. It really doesn't. It could just be something that alerts your body. It pings your body. It instructs your body that, hey, we are now switching from the excitement of the day, the stress of the day, the work of the day, the worries and concerns of the day to we about to go and get us a little bit of slumber up in here. You know what I mean? So let's go ahead and do that, right? And these systems make your discipline automatic. We want to basically with a system put your discipline on autopilot, on automatic. All right, so let's try that. Yes, indeed. I'm huge on embracing accountability. We have to be accountable. How do we do this? What are some things that we can do? If you got a partner, get you a coach, get you a mentor. I am a certified life coach, and as you could probably guess, I am a life coach and a mindset life coach. So if there's any of you out there that feel like you need a mindset shift, feel like you can't get motivated, feel like you need some uplifting, feel like your perspective is off, right? Feels like you can't figure out who you are, reach out, right? Again, go to the links in the description of this show. They'll be down there. I have social media. I have a Gmail account. Or you can, of course, leave comments on the videos that we have. But by all means, reach out. Don't feel like you can't get help, and don't feel like you're in this alone. There are many people that are out there like that. But get you a partner, get you a coach, get you a mentor, get you some solid friends. I got a solid friend group, man. Get those people, like I said earlier, that will hold you to your standards. They don't let you slip. They don't accept your excuses. They don't care if you cry, complain, cuss, and fuss. And they will not back down for anything, right? They will not back down, right? Have a daily and weekly check-ins. Stay locked in with them. All right. And you can be accountable, to some other things, right? Like a diet. Are you accountable to your diet? Are you staying true to that? Are you accountable to your health, right? Are you going to the doctor? Are you getting checked? Are you getting your labs? Are you doing these things? Right? Are you accountable to even your spiritual journey? Do you pray? Do you read? Do you meditate? Do you just sit time to find with a higher power or your creator, whoever you believe that to be, right? Are you doing those things? Those things are important. Or whatever your spirituality is, I don't know, however you define it. All right, let's take time to be accountable to those things. All right, let's look at discomfort as training, right? I said it earlier. Training is preparation, right? So let's look at that. Pain from your workout can equal to building strength and consistency, right? Like your muscle. Like I'm sore. I played basketball on Sunday. It's Wednesday. I'm still sore. All right. I'm recording this the day before it's supposed to come out, and I am still sore. So, but we call that a good hurt. Oh, that's that good hurt. That's that good pain, right? And I did really well, by the way. I just went doo doo. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I cooked a little bit, just so you know. But anyway, pain from your workout can equal to strength and consistency. For those of you that have confrontational issues, sometimes having tough conversations can equal transforming yourself into a leader, right? One of the most difficult things I find, as at my job as being a supervisor, a person in a position of leadership, is sometimes pulling people into an office or pulling them into a private space. Excuse me, pulling them into a private space and being like, hey, listen, I need you to do these things to correct this behavior. Otherwise, we got to go this route and that route. And there's ways that you can phrase it, but sometimes having difficult conversations can be a benefit, right? Something a little more simple, something a little more simple. where discomfort can be training is waking up early in the morning, and that can equal just a kind of a double down on practicing discipline, right? Especially if you know you are tired. And I don't know about you, but sometimes you got that. You ever go to sleep and you don't even remember where you at? It's that kind of sleep, right? That sleep where you felt like you slept for about 3 days. You didn't dream about nothing. You wake up, the whole side of your pillow is wet. I mean, that kind of sleep, right? And and that alarm, is coming. You could feel it. You could sense, this alarm, and you're in the middle of your dream. You like half awake and half asleep, and you feel that alarm about to go off, and there it goes. And everything in you is like, nah, this is too good. We nice and warm. It's cold outside. Oh, I got my boo thing right next to me. I got my spouse right next to me. I got my whatever right next to you. I don't care if you got a cat or a dog. If your cat or dog is right next to you, you probably still don't want to get up. Whatever it is, you comfortable as you can get and you don't want to get up. Go ahead and get up. Create that consistency, right? It is that discomfort is training. It is preparing you. All right. And finally, I'm a fan. You guys know I'm a huge fan of this. Celebrate your consistency, right? Military training focuses on consistency over time, not flawless execution. Man, let me say that one more time. Military training, or just training in general, it focuses on consistency over time, not flawless execution. You want to get better and better and better and better. All right. Yes, but we are not striving and searching only for perfection. That is not what we are doing, right? Measure your progress by how often you show up. Many things, especially nowadays, are predicated on people just showing up. I gave you the example of your job application, right? Just show up. Sometimes you might be the only one to show up. Who are they gonna get a job to, right? Who wants this job bad enough? The person that showed up, right? Many things simply require your presence. You know how many people have gotten into relationships because they showed up somewhere? You know, many people have gotten jobs and opportunities and money simply because. Oh, I got a story for you. We have so here in Tucson, we have this group called ABC, A Better Community, run by Trehan Coleman and his wife, and they have these events once a month, and you go, and it's just trying to network and learn about all the other people of color in your community. And it was on a Wednesday. The last one was on a Wednesday, and I tell you, I came home. I was tired. My feet hurt. I had a long day. I might have had a little bit of a headache. I was hungry. Everything that could be wrong was wrong. And I was like, I don't feel like going. I don't feel like going. I told my wife, I ain't going. I don't feel like going. Come on, man, we gotta go. We just go for 30 minutes. I don't feel like going. I ain't going. All right, come on. We just gotta show our face. I was like, all right, you know what? All right, cool. Let's go. Let's go. So we end up going, and they were having they had three speakers. The speakers were really good too. And then throughout the event, they were playing bingo to give away these prizes. Right? They had dinner gift cards. They had I think they had two gift cards to these special restaurants, and had a 75-inch TV. So I go, and my wife wins the gift card to I can't remember what it was, $150 gift card. I'm like, oh, bet, cool. So we had a speaker. We got a next event, and then some other lady won the other one. So we on the last event, man. We going round and round and round. And sure enough, we're playing some sort of bingo game, and I get bingo and walk out of that bad boy with a brand new 75-inch TV, just because I decided to show up. Now there's a little more to it than that, but had I not showed up, wouldn't have walked away with it. So I'm just saying, sometimes your presence is all that is needed in order to win. Right? You just need to show up. In order to have opportunity, you just need to show up. In order to get some money, you just need to show up. Right? In order to find your wife, sometimes you just need to show up. In order to win or learn, sometimes you just need to show up. Yes, indeed. Kings, let's go ahead and get into some reflection prompts and some affirmation. And if you don't already have it, now is the perfect time to go ahead and grab your journals. So you're going to hit the pause on this show right at this point in time. Go ahead and grab your journal so we can go ahead and get it. And you write these down. You want to take these with you this week. Yes, indeed. Reflection prompt number 1. Where am I operating without a system, and how am I paying for it? We talked about this a little bit earlier, right? You're trading your time, your effort, and your money. All right. That's typically how you are going to pay for it. You are either going to pay for it with wasted time, wasted energy, wasted money, some combination of all three, or all three. And then that's the worst case scenario, right? We definitely don't want to do that. Where am I operating without a system, and how am I paying for it? Right? All of those things are bad. Money can lead to stress. Wasted money can lead to stress. Wasted energy can lead to stress. Wasted time can definitely lead to stress. And then that stress leads into what? Now you got health concerns. Now you might have relationship concerns. Now you might be losing a business, right? You might start losing some other things. So again, where am I operating without a system, and how am I paying for it? Let's check that system that you're operating with. Yes, indeed. Reflection prompt number 2. What possibility have I shut down because it felt unrealistic? In this one, we got to have some confidence, right? If we don't have confidence in ourselves, we got to find a way to build it. But it may not just be self-sabotage, right? It could be somebody else didn't support us. Somebody else does not believe in us. Somebody else is telling us, you ain't no good. We could be getting a whole bunch of criticism or critiques that don't make us feel good. All right. And that possibility is slowly going away because we no longer feel that it's unrealistic, right? What possibility have I shut down because it felt unrealistic? It could be because I made it so, or because someone else made it so. Doesn't matter, really. The fact of the matter is you felt it's unrealistic, and so now it's not a possibility. All right, what possibility have I shut down because it felt unrealistic? And let's work on changing that. Reflection prompt number 3. What does integrity require from me when nobody is watching? Yes, indeed. This is huge, people. We got to have some integrity to ourselves. We got to honor our own word to ourselves. If you tell yourself you're going to eat right, eat right. If you tell yourself you're going to cut something out, cut something out. If you tell yourself you're going to stop doing certain things, stop doing those things. Don't allow yourself to have a scapegoat because it's you, right? Don't allow yourself to postpone the date because it's you. One of the biggest things is those daggone New Year's resolutions. I'll tell you, we going to start working out. We going to eat right. We not going to watch nonsense anymore. We not going to do whatever it is. I don't want, I don't want to frustrate too many people. But whatever it is, let's honor it. If you give yourself your word, man, how you going to keep your word to anybody else? You can't keep it to yourself. Right? You're supposed to love yourself more than anybody, right? So if you don't love yourself enough to keep your word, how you gonna do it for anybody else? I don't really know. But yeah, what does integrity require from me when nobody is watching? And it should be the same. It should be the same as your integrity that other people that you care about. It should be the same. Yes, indeed. King, let's go ahead and jump on into the daily affirmations for today. Affirmation number 1. I don't wait to feel ready. I train until I am ready. Yeah, it's that thing. You ain't got to get ready if you are ready, right? It's one of those things, man. It's one of those things where you don't wait to feel. It's not about emotion. It's not about feelings. It's not about your motivation. It is about your willingness and your desire to push through and push yourself to a point where it now becomes routine. Now it becomes a habit that you don't need motivation for. Right? I don't wait to feel ready. I train until I am ready, right? You train until that feeling of motivation is not necessary for you to do whatever it is that you have set your mind to. Once again, I don't wait to feel ready. I train until I am ready. Yes, indeed. Affirmation number 2, I keep my word to myself. That is the ultimate form of self-respect. That's, again, falls in line with integrity, what we were talking about in the reflection prompt, right? Keep your word to yourself. How special are you to you? All right. You should be the most special. All right. That's the ultimate form of self-respect, right? If you are giving your word to yourself, honor yourself by keeping it. So if you tell yourself you're going to do something, do it. If you tell yourself you're going to stop doing something, also stop doing that. Right? If you tell yourself you're going to give something, give it. If you tell yourself you're going to be somewhere or show up somewhere, be there and show up. That is what you should do. Affirmation number 3, I train my mindset like a warrior. I train it daily, I train it deliberately, and I train it relentlessly. Yes, indeed. It's the warrior mentality, training daily, training deliberately or with purpose, and training relentlessly, meaning non-stop. And this is what we want to do until what we are going for, until our goal becomes routine, until motivation is not mandatory, right? Until we don't need it anymore. Our mood is not required for us to show up. Our feelings are not required for us to finish. All right, we have to train our mind like a warrior. We have to train it daily. We have to train it deliberately, and we for sure got to train it relentlessly, nonstop. Yes, indeed. Kings, my final thought for today is this: discipline isn't about being perfect. It's just simply about being dependable, right? Being dependable, you got to be able to rely on yourself, right? It's the quiet decision that you make when nobody's watching, right? Remember, we just talked about keeping your word to yourself and having some form of integrity, right? It is the standard you keep when life around you is difficult, when you're struggling, when it's hard, and it's just a promise to honor. It's your word that you continue to keep. It's your integrity that you remain intact when it could be so much easier to quit. All right. So as we leave this episode, I need you to remember your motivation is simply a visitor, right? But discipline is your best teammate. It is your permanent teammate. All right. I need you to hold it down today, people, because I'm telling you, the life that you want, the life that you want to build, right? It's done by what you do consistently, not by what you do occasionally. I'm going to say that once again. The life that you are trying to build is done by what you do consistently, not what you do occasionally. Kings, thank you for joining me as always on the Master Your Mindset, the 7 dimensions of mindset. And before you get on out of here, before I get up on out of here, you know I need y'all to do one thing for me. I need you to check your vibe. Mind right, vibe right. Yes, indeed. People, if this podcast has shifted your mindset or moved you to change your vibe, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with somebody that you love, somebody that you care about, or someone that you believe can vibe in a new way. Leave me a review, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at KingYesIndeed. Also, if you are interested in vibe, coaching, consultation, please email me at kingyesindeed@gmail.com. Let's find more personally tailored approach to your vibe. Yeah, I give one-on-one coaching. I can do group coaching through mind or vibe or mindset coaching classes. Until next time, people, check your vibe. Mind bright, vibe right. Yes, indeed.